Jim Irsay is suggesting that Jeff Saturday is the best head coach for this team because first he suggested because he has no experience.
Do you think he feels the same way about his cardiologist?
Probably not. So he's suggesting that he's going to be a great head coach because he doesn't have any experience, so he's not afraid. But then he says he's got a lot of experience, which is coaching some high school football games, I guess. It's an odd scenario, wouldn't you say?
Very odd scenario, but I guess when you got a good relationship with the owner and a lot of respect from the owner, you get opportunities like this. You know what I mean? So fortunately, for Jeff, that he was there and he was willing to take it. I know a lot of guys probably wouldn't even took him up on the opportunity, but we've seen things like John Lynch having a lot of success, and he's never been a GM. So from a player's perspective, he knows what a locker room is supposed to feel like, and I think maybe it might be a culture shift that they're looking for Jeff Saturday to bring a culture shift, not so much X's and O's football thing. This has got to be a culture thing because it absolutely makes no sense when it comes to football and being a coach. He's trying to bring back that old nostalgia back when they used to have success, when they had the Reggie Waynes, the Edgerrin James, the Marvin Harrisons, the Peyton Mannings, and Jeff Saturday. Maybe he can bring some of that type of attitude to the party. That's the only thing that I can think of because it makes no sense otherwise.
You have guys on the staff.
Right. You want to listen.
You brought up John Fox earlier.
Right.
Longtime head coach.
Right. You want some other guys on that staff I'll give you?
You brought up Reggie Wayne is on that staff.
Reggie Wayne's on that staff. You want a guy who's a Hall of Famer who played the O-line that's on that staff? Kevin Mawai's on that staff. Cato June, who played for the Colts, is on that staff.
You know what? My Hall of Fame teammate, classmate, Kevin Mawai, I did see him there. I didn't even know he was on the staff. So that is interesting because you have a Hall of Famer, there as an offensive lineman. So, but at the same time, Kevin Mawai didn't play for them.
Right.
Like I said, he's good with the owner. Hey, and when you got a couple $1 billion, you can put in who you want to put in, but it just didn't make football from a football standpoint. I don't know what he's getting paid. He might be saving some money from a financial standpoint. I don't know why he made the decision, but great for Jeff Saturday. I think great for the culture in the locker room, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to transfer to the field and you're going to start winning ball games, especially right now.
See, I would have just elevated Reggie Wayne because the funny thing that Irsay said is, well, we're happy that he's available. Just walk downstairs and the guy that's coaching your wide receivers, who's probably on your Ring of Honor somewhere, Reggie Wayne understands, like you said, culture. At least those players in the locker room go, oh, okay, we know Coach Wayne. We can understand that. And the other thing that is interesting about this, if you're going to do that, don't just go, well, it's only for 8 games, and if he does play well, maybe it'll be permanent. If you think that Jeff Saturday's the guy, say, hey, this is the guy we're going with.
Yeah.
And you're talking about no pressure. He's basically saying he doesn't know the pressures of being a head coach and all the stats that go into it. Don't you think all the pressure's on him right now?
Oh, he'll figure it out quick.
The team stinks.
Right. You know what was interesting to me, Coco, is when Jeff Saturday said, he's taking the job, but he's also auditioning already for 31 other teams. When you made that, let's concentrate on this one right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying. We know that in the back of our mind. You all as a player, you're always auditioning for somebody else. But come on, man, no coaching experience. Let's just concentrate, go full time on here.
And with Jeff Saturday, he's a big enough name, and he's on ESPN. Where if he really wanted to get in coaching, he could have been in coaching. And, Ty and I know guys that are trying to get in.
Right.
Otis Smith has been trying to get in forever.
Absolutely.
So he could easily have gotten in. And now if they make this hire, then they're like, oh, at least he coached a couple years here and there.
But my question, waiting for the right opportunity, Wiggy.
My question for everybody that's reacting to this, though, where is this outrage when Troy Brown's on the Patriots coaching staff and he's not the coordinator, but they have a defensive coach and Joe Judge, who almost ruined Daniel Jones as their offensive coordinator?
I said Troy Brown, and I also said Nick Caley because he's been on the staff longer than anybody as an offensive guy.
I'm not saying you specifically. I mean, the Patriots fans that are laughing, rightfully so, at Jim Irsay and his hiring of Jeff Saturday, but you have Troy Brown, who basically created the culture on offense.
Right.
Starting back with Parcells, through Belichick, with Brady and everybody else. Nobody exemplifies what a Patriot is more than Troy Brown. Maybe Wiggy, but
and why? And that that's a great question. And Ty knows this guy as well. The other guy who's like Troy's in the position. He's just going to be the offensive Pepper Johnson. Like Pepper was on the staff, and I love Pep. And, and I remember Pep being down at the Jets. He was on the staff, but it was like, how come this guy never gets elevated to the defensive coordinator position?
I used to think the same thing. Didn't know why, not a coach. I said, Pep's been here. He's been a player, for Coach Belichick back with the Giants, winning with Cleveland. Now he's here at New England, but he just kept getting passed over. And I always wonder why. But sometimes you got to think, do guys even want that position? Do they even want that title? I'm not so sure that, he did or not, because at some point, you got to go up in Belichick's office. I know I would have. Hey, man, how I keep getting passed over, man? What's going on?
Do you think that Matt Patricia has the OC job for life, or do you think it's possible that after this season he gets bumped back to special advisor or whatever he was?
No.
Prior? No?
You think he has it for life?
Because Bill, look, when I've talked about this time, when has Bill ever fired a coach? I don't think he hardly ever does it. So if once he feels like you're and it's the same way with players. Once he feels like I can trust you and you're my guy, he's like, you're in the family. Think about it.
Didn't he fire Charlie Weiss?
No, Charlie Weiss left to go coach at, was it Notre Dame?
But even if it's not public, there could be conversations that happen
I'm
behind the scenes.
I'm not saying they don't.
Right.
But the point I'm saying is, like, once you're a Bill Belichick guy, whether you're a player or a coach, he's always bringing you back. Or if you're a coach, hey, listen, you're going to be on the staff and you might stay at a specific position.
Unless you're Art Mancini.
He'll give you the opportunity to go get a head coaching job or a higher position. But he tends to bring you back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is David with Ty Law. Hey, David.
Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Ty, I'm glad you're on the radio right now. Love talking to athletes. Great job. How you doing today?
Thank you. How you doing, David?
All right, thanks. I got to ask you, and we would talk about this for a while, and with all respect and just for you and the way the game is right now, the game, I want your opinion on the quality of the game right now. I just think it's so boring, especially offense. Quarterbacks, I think, are just the level of skill in the quarter. Yeah, they're faster and they're more athletic, but passing-wise, the skill is down, scoring is down. And I just, again, with all respect, I want to hear what you have to say about that.
No, I mean, I agree with you in a sense, David, where the quality of the game, especially the way we grew up playing the game, Wiggy. But I understand what the NFL is trying to do is trying to protect the players so you can play longer. But the quality of the game is what I think is missing, especially when it comes to defense.
So you agree with Tom Brady? Like when Tom Brady said there's a lot of bad football, you agree with Tom?
Yes, I mean, it's a lot of bad football when you look out there and say, if I wasn't so old, you think you can go out there and still play. I don't necessarily, like I say, I agree with protecting the players, but some of these calls and what they're asking them to do when they throwing a flag, let it be football. We knew what we signed up for, especially some of these roughing the passer type of situations. I'm sitting there like, come on, man. That's not football. When you're running across the middle, I can't wait for you to put 2 feet down, put it in your possession. If everyone's running fast and going full speed, I hate that rule. You know what I mean? Because you're supposed to get the hell knocked out of you if you're willing to go across the middle. I mean, that's just the way I grew up playing the game. You know what I mean? I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to go off in the stretcher, but damn it, I want you to feel it. I want you to see a couple stars.
Right.
That's football, in my opinion. So the quality of the game, David, I agree with you, is definitely not the same. I think it's all about the fantasy. It's all about what Vegas is thinking. If they have to report here, report there. It's more than just the product being placed on the field now. This is being ran more like a business than our entertainment, in my opinion.
And I think the players, and I've always said this before, I think the players just aren't as bright. Like the players, I watch plays, I'm like, man, that is so dumb. Like their football, football IQ is gone, and their technique. Like, do you practice on your technique or not? Like, so sometimes I'm watching guys, I'm like, really?
You know what? Their feet ain't the same because they being held down by they got a lot of money in their pocket. You know what I mean? So they ain't as quick. So look, I ain't hating. I am happy as hell.
That's why
these guys are getting that type of money because, the owners are making a lot of money. But these guys, they being held down by something, and I don't think the time and the energy is being put into the small things like it used to. And it might be something to do with, the money that is being made nowadays. I ain't got to.
Well,
all
it
I
ain't
got to do is
making
get
them-
here.
it-
It ain't about staying here.
That
'Cause
money's
you
long.
one contract, you can retire.
Do you think the adjustment preseason wise has an effect on it?
The preseason adjustments,
Like getting
Shortening?
shortening. And
Nah, I don't think that's really it. And unless the money's making that lowering their IQ, I think what the problem is, at least from the offensive side of the ball, is in college. No one has to study anything. You just look over to the sideline. Coach tells you what to do. It's like a bunch of, it's like when you play pickup ball. Okay, you run a 5-yard out route, you run a 6-yard curl route, and you go deep. And that's what it's now. So when everybody's like, "Oh, the playbook's so hard, the playbook's so tough," I just think that and then it's not just the players. Some of these coaches, like the IQs of the coaches, like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. And then you have, coaches who haven't played the game or getting opportunities to coach that don't know anything about football, and then they just work their way up. You know what I mean? So, and it starts in the little league. I always give credit to those guys that come out and volunteer their time, for the young kids. But if you're starting young and you're starting with coaches that they really don't know the game themselves, it kind of translates, and you have to play catch up a lot. You know what I mean? But I think the money that the guys are making from a professional standpoint is, I think, is taken away, from
the study habits.
The study habits.
You don't think the training that Mike McDaniel got as team manager his whole life has led to his success currently with the Miami Dolphins?
I think that's Tyreek Hill.
You got Tyreek Hill. You got Tyreek Hill. We can figure out something right there. We're gonna figure out a couple wins. He is awesome.